Sometimes people think a family is normal just because the father goes to work, because there's food at home, because nobody sees what happens at night. But a child does not measure safety the same way adults do. A child measures safety by atmosphere, by footsteps, by the sound of a key turning in the door, by the tone of someone's voice from the other room. And when one parent drinks, even not every day, the whole house can slowly begin to revolve around unpredictability. The child starts learning things children were never supposed to learn: how loudly the door closes, how long silence lasts before shouting begins, how to recognize intoxication from facial expressions alone. Sometimes the parent is calm, sometimes emotional, sometimes angry, sometimes loud, sometimes overly affectionate in a way that feels uncomfortable and confusing. And the hardest part is the child never knows which version of that person is coming home tonight. So the nervous system never fully relaxes, even during peaceful days, especially during peaceful days. Because peace starts to feel temporary, fragile, like it could disappear at any second. Many children from homes like this become experts at reading emotions. Before entering a room, they check the mood first. Before speaking, they analyze the atmosphere first. Before asking for anything, they calculate the risk first. Not consciously, automatically, like survival. And over time, the child slowly stops acting like a child. They become careful, observant, quiet. Sometimes adults say these children are too mature for their age, and people may even admire that. But very often, that maturity was not created by safety. It was created by stress. The child may begin trying to prevent conflict before it even starts. Speaking carefully. Trying to stay invisible. Keeping younger siblings quiet. Watching the parent's emotional state like a weather forecast. Trying to predict the storm. And when the mother constantly says things like, "Please don't drink today," the child hears much more than just words. The child hears fear, tension, hope mixed with exhaustion, and eventually the emotional atmosphere of the entire house begins depending on one question: what mood will he be in tonight? That question quietly takes over the nervous system of the whole family, especially the child's. Some children become overly responsible, others emotionally shut down inside themselves. Some become perfectionists, some become people pleasers. Some become extremely independent because depending on others never felt emotionally safe. And many carry a strange contradiction inside them. I love this parent, but I'm also afraid of them. And that confusion can live in the body for many years. Because children naturally want closeness with their parents, even when those parents emotionally hurt them. Especially when good moments still exist. And that is what often confuses outsiders. Because the child may also have happy memories. Moments when the parent laughed, bought gifts, played games, made jokes, acted loving. And that creates emotional whiplash. The child keeps hoping maybe this time things will stay good. But unpredictability slowly changes the brain. The child becomes alert even in calm environments. Later in life, they may struggle to relax around emotionally intense people. They may feel responsible for other people's emotions. They may apologize too much, over-explain themselves, fear conflict, fear rejection, or become emotionally numb, not because they are weak, but because the nervous system adapted to instability. A child growing up in this kind of home often feels a very specific kind of loneliness. Not always physical loneliness, emotional loneliness. Because many of their feelings stay trapped inside. Who do they tell? How do they explain something that changes every night? Sometimes the child even minimizes what is happening. Well, he works. Well, other people have it worse. Well, he's not always like that. But emotional unpredictability still leaves scars, even when nobody talks about it. Many children from these homes grow into adults who constantly monitor other people's emotions, adults who struggle to feel safe, adults who feel guilty for resting, adults who confuse chaos with love because chaos felt familiar. And one of the saddest parts is this: many of them spent their entire childhood trying not to become a problem, while silently carrying emotional burdens far too heavy for a child. A child should not have to recognize alcohol levels from footsteps. A child should not feel relief when a parent falls asleep quickly. A child should not feel fear from the sound of a garage door opening. But many children do. And the pain becomes even heavier when nobody acknowledges it. When everyone pretends everything is normal, because children often blame themselves for emotional atmospheres they never created. But the truth is, children are not responsible for stabilizing adults. They are not responsible for controlling someone else's addiction, not responsible for preventing conflict, not responsible for carrying the emotional weight of the entire family. They were supposed to feel safe, and many never truly did. But understanding this later in life can change something important, because once a person finally realizes that child was simply trying to survive, they can begin separating survival responses from who they truly are. The hypervigilance, the fear, the constant emotional scanning, the guilt, the inner tension. At one point, all of those responses made sense. They were adaptations, not identity. And sometimes healing begins with one very quiet realization. It was not normal to be afraid of the evening all the time. And for many people, that sentence describes their entire childhood. This story was created based on real experiences and emotions that many children go through, even if nobody talks about them out loud. If stories like this and topics related to human psychology resonate with you, subscribe.